So when we talk about nationally determined contributions, we mean followings in line with what Article 2, Sub-Article 4 of the Paris Agreement states. It says that each party, means each state who have ratified this agreement, shall prepare, communicate, and maintain successive nationally determined contributions that it intends to achieve. So basically, the onus is conferred upon the states themselves to, set the strategy and then to communicate those strategies as well as finally to maintain the successive NDCs that intend to achieve. So parties shall pursue domestic mitigation measures with the aim of achieving the objectives of such contributions. Now, you understand that we again talked about mitigation. Uh, Let me just go back to what mitigation is, and I think then it would be quite, convenient for us to grasp what do we understand by the term. So, mitigation is aimed at tackling the causes and minimizing the possible impacts of climate change. So you focus on the causes, and then uh, your strategy to the climate causes will help you in minimizing the impacts. For example, if we use renewable energies instead of fossil fuel, then the collective use of renewable energies instead of fossil fuels will immensely contribute in the result of the climate change mechanisms. So this is what mitigation is. You take certain measures, those measures are themselves contributing to lessen the issue of climate, the consequence of climate. For example, even other than renewable energies, uh, you know, you use what you call it, environment friendly technologies for the survival. We frequently see to adapt with or to use the the electronics and other items which are CFC free, particularly refrigerators. So there are so many examples and instances about mitigation. So basically, the article 4 sub-article 2, it talks about mitigation measures to be achieved as part of the NDCs. NDCs embody efforts by each country to reduce national emissions and adapt to the impact of climate change. It further says that parties shall pursue domestic mitigation measures with the aim of achieving the objectives of such contribution. The agreement requires each country to outline and communicate their post-2020 climate actions, known as their NDCs. So at this point, I would kindly request you to see what has the actions of Bangladesh been with respect to post-2020 climate issues. So again, moving ahead with the Paris Agreement, the agreement reaffirms the goal of limiting global temperature increase to well below 2 degrees Celsius while pursuing its effort to limit the increase uh, up to 1.5 degree. So again, coming to mitigation, the Paris Agreement establishes binding commitments by all parties to prepare, communicate, and maintain a nationally determined contribution and to pursue domestic measures to achieve them. And we have given the examples of what those measures can be. So mitigation refers to the contribution in controlling the increase of temperatures. In 2018, the COP, means Conference of Parties, uh, facilitated a dialogue among parties to take stock of collective efforts of parties in relation to progress towards the long term and to inform the preparation of the next round of NDCs. Starting in 2023, and then every 5 years, government will take stock of the implementation of the agreement to assess uh, the collective progress towards achieving the purpose of the agreement and its long-term goals. So basically, unlike Framework Convention or Kyoto Protocol, the Paris Agreement does not, make its commitments to be ended after a certain year period. It is rather a very flexible obligation provided to the states to settle their NDCs, and I think after every 5 years, the reviews and the progress will be taken accordingly. So uh, another uh, tasks under the Paris is voluntary cooperation, which is very vital uh, in the lens and from the context that the states are in need of uh, equipments, technologies, knowledges, results, and findings to combat the climate change. Just a few days back, I was following a video by a scientist claiming that, I mean, he's talking about the geopolitics and the impact of climate change while giving the example of this small island, the tiny island in between India and Bangladesh, which is called Hariyabanga Rivers basin, just close to the river basin of Hariyabanga. The island is South Talpotri, we call it. As you know that it was first noticed by India in 1974 and Bangladesh in 1978. So both countries kept claiming about the rivers, sorry, the island's position as their own. And that's how they kept moving ahead. There were serious tensions, dialogues, and everything. Recently, from a very, what do you call it? From a very high-tech camera, uh, they they revealed that the island exists no more. Not even during low tide, the island can be traced. So the problem and the challenge here is what the author intended to highlight is that perhaps and most possibly due to the you know uh, rise of the sea level, the island could not survive. It is submerged under the water, and he has given an uh, alarming concern upon the states, showing that if this is the way they continue biting each other with the small issues, then they all are going to lose collectively. Therefore, combating climate change requires collective and voluntary cooperation. Now, the example I have provided has two important issues. Number one, you need very sophisticated technology to trace the and to observe how the impact of climate change is, you know, and happening in our day-to-day life. And secondly, uh, the geopolitics and the uh, rivalry or states non-cooperation would lead to a certain level of damage for all. So those are some of the issues with respect to climate change. Uh, and therefore, there is no alternate to voluntary cooperation, which is a highly mandated for the nations. So this is what in this part we would like to discuss. Yeah, next we'll be coming to adaptation. To give a small note, there are two important ways to combat the climate change. One is mitigation and other is adaptation. We have mentioned about what mitigation and how it pursued. Now, adaptation, it aims to significantly strengthen national adaptation efforts, including through support and international cooperation. Countries to make plan and report actively after every 5 years about how they are dealing with the issues of adaptation. So next part we will be dealing with that. Thank you.